Depressing, it's.
Yeah. I'm not to call myself out. So I will tell y'all, typically, I didn't do team meetings the day after a holiday. I just didn't. School's out, and I really feel like, well, why not? If there's more people in a classroom, don't you give everything you got? So why not? Why don't we do that? And so that's why we're here today. I'm here, you're here. I want to thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna talk today a little bit about my trip to Austin with KW Wealth. I'm gonna talk about community today. I'm gonna talk about profit share today. And then anything else you want to talk about. But before we get this party started, let's talk about gratitude. And what are you thankful for? And what are you doing? I'm gonna start it off and say thank you to the servicemen who gave the ultimate sacrifice so I could have had the best weekend ever. Yeah. I went to a restaurant and I guess it's sad to say on a lot publicly, and recorded that I didn't know what the empty table was. I've never seen that. I went to several restaurants and they had the empty table with a flag. And it just was like, wow, thank you for doing that. And it really put perspective of what my life looks like because of these humans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And so I want to thank them for what they've done. My grandfather served in World War II. And so I'm very honored to say that to him. All right, let's go. Who else? Tell me something you did this weekend. I wore this shirt intentionally because a lot of you, because I'm gonna make the vendors come up here. And then I want you to look at the audience. And my intern's gonna be one of my vendors because he's not selling real estate. He's here, he's going to Tennessee, and we're not gonna boo because we're excited. He's in the SEC and they order us. And I'm proud of it. That's awesome. That is so awesome, man. And you'll have that for the rest of your life. But I want to see, and the reason I share that is the vendors showed up. Where's the people? Vacation? I don't know. Richie, I'm good to see you, and you're not in Tennessee. But thank God you're not in Tennessee. Sorry, he has a license in Tennessee. You're back and forth. Right? So tell me something good. I need to know like something that you did this weekend that you're super excited about. Now go back to my t-shirt. Anybody, let's look, the energy in the room, we gotta get going. Look, y'all gotta pay for this weekend. I know y'all spent some money. Right, we gotta run to work. At least I told my son that. Now you go first.
Went to a summer schools out pool party Friday afternoon, had a great time, met some new people. We talked real estate and we talked life, we talked new people coming to town. And it was a really great way to start the weekend and just keep things going. And day to work day. It was
What real estate did you talk?
I'm sorry?
You said we talked real estate. What did we talk?
We talked about the Atlanta market, that there's a difference between the city and the suburbs, and that folks were coming from other states. And they were just getting used to the area.
All right.
So it was just, it was light, general, and then it just went on more to family and kids. Where were your kids? Where were this? It wasn't a kill, go after, everybody like a
We'll say this.
crazy person, shall we say.
We'll say this one more time. I was in the room with a billionaire using the restroom. I didn't ask him how his company was doing, or what he thought of what I was doing, or what Chattanooga was doing. I asked him how his grandkids were.
Exactly.
The next minute, I was in his office. If anybody tell me in this room they've done that opportunity, raise your hands. A billionaire began Keller. I'll put the Southeast region in this room and they'll tell you they never had that opportunity. No one gives a flying about real estate.
Right.
You think they do, they care about their
They
family.
care about the kids.
Then they want to say, how can we build wealth inside of that so that we can do what we want to do when we want to do it? And you guys are in the real estate space. Quit saying you sell real estate. And shame on me. I've been saying this for 20 years. We buy and sell real estate. We work with Brian and help him buy and sell houses. He lives on the boat, so he don't even do that. But he's got houses. Yeah, he's got houses. My point being is, you guys got to be the first buyer on every house. I don't understand why we're not building wealth like that. When you go on a listing appointment, you should be the first buyer. And if you decide not to buy it, then you list it, creating massive wealth. Looking around the room, even you vendors. You all these jobs, you get paid, right? Let me teach you how to build wealth where you can work on your taxes. Yeah, it's so important. It is important if you want to create massive wealth. Someone else, tell me something good. Yes, ma'am. Well, I know you're building, you're flipping them.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Something new, this weekend I was working really hard in 3 projects and I put one, on the market the last Friday. Have open house Saturday and Sunday and I have multiple offers in that house.
Yeah. Conversation around that today. Brian don't even know that I cut him off and said, hey, we're gonna talk today, so me and him are gonna talk about that.
Yes, and I just want to let you know, guys, that I'm gonna have another one that Shelter is going to help me this, next weekend at an open house, and this one is gonna be a complete, flip like the ones that I do in Beaufort. Really nice house. It's gonna be.
Shelter's gonna help you,
Yeah, they're gonna be.
That was a key word.
That day,
right?
both days. My thing is, if you want to do like a private open house just for us in our office, we can do it Saturday early than everybody else, okay? And the 2 guys are gonna be with me this week.
Yeah, they're amazing. They helped me this weekend as well. They do. All right, somebody else. One more, director. Yes, ma'am.
I went under, contract on my first investment property this weekend.
Yeah. You said I sold $1 million house, I'm gonna ask you, you made 30 grand, I guess, whatever, you know. But when you tell me I made an investment property, you made an investment in yourself or building massive wealth. So that really warms my spirit, my heart, so thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
How's it feel?
It feels good. I couldn't believe it was the house that I was looking at. It went under contract. It fell through and then I saw it back online and I was like, I went ahead and submitted a offer and they accepted it.
So you buying and holding it or buying and flipping it?
Flipping.
You're gonna flip it, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about that, why we hold. Because I know it looks good to make 60 grand, 50 grand. But when we hold, what that looks like from tax appreciation, you got cash flow coming in.
Bring it out again.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. All right, anybody else? Anybody got gratitude? I heard y'all talk about shelter. Anybody else want to give it to them? Thanks. Let's get the party started. You good? You good? Okay. All right. Why, you act like you partied all weekend. I'm sorry. All right. I'm like, okay, come on down. I got M, which I could, yep, call her Emily. I got Edna, yep, call her, I guess. And whatever else.
Good morning, hope everyone's doing good. Holiday weekend, don't have any legal corner today, no attorneys, to chat about, important stuff, but I have some important stuff. Amy's back next Monday.
Whoa. We have to spend time with their newborn, and it is cool to have them.
And then next Wednesday, we're doing a class, but it's more of a game, we're doing real estate equity. So for any of those who nerd out over that, I'm really excited to build out that game and try something new. So that's next Wednesday, the 7th from, let's see, 10 to 11. And then with the other alliance partners, we're doing the bowling happy hour on the 22nd. So down on your calendar.
Go ball in a Spalding?
I believe so. Renee's kind of spearheading that.
Of course she is.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that we have going on this month. Yes, ma'am.
Good, well, we're going into halftime, right? June's coming up in a couple of days.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it, the weather's still kind of chilly, but yeah. Fantastic.
McMichael Gray is hosting the Neymar First Connect this Friday,
Oh,
at 10 o'clock. So be sure to support Neymar and support McMichael and
There you
Gray
go.
at our Peachtree Corners office.
yeah, right on.
Your Peachtree Corners office, actually, right around the corner.
Right. Well, thank y'all. Thank you. Hope you had a good weekend. Who, something this weekend when you lead generate, but yet you didn't lead generate. Did that make any sense?
Yep.
Some of you, I'm looking at some of your pages going. Mary Ann did. I need to ask some of you, what business are you in? You're in the people business. So who of y'all might have sat in your house all weekend and talked to nobody? Ricky, I thought you were raising your hand. I'm like, dude, just don't even do it. No, shaking my head. Somebody tell me what you did this weekend when you generated business, without generating business. Thank you, Matt. I mean, excuse me, Hunter. That haircut.
It is a little shorter. I'm stressed out a little bit. Matt and I, played in the Aria golf tournament with Andy Peters and Lloyd this weekend. So we got to meet a bunch of, people out there and some agents and weren't really networking too much or just playing golf and gave out some business cards.
So did he introduce you as Matt? I'm just kidding right now, Hunter, and what you did for a living?
He did, yes.
Interesting. That's lead gen. Guys, you gotta go to the people. Like you sit in here and I preach and I wear the shirt on. Intentional. I watch Mona, she does great videos, she's going to the people. If you are sitting in your house right now, you're going to struggle in this business. I'm gonna make it very clear. It's the 80-20 principle and 20% of the business. You've got to be out and talking to the people. And if you're not out talking to people, invite them to your house. Invite them to your house. Michael had probably 60 people in his house, in my house this week, just him, talking about me. Well, you think the people know what we do for a living? They ask questions, right? I don't spew, hey, I'm in real estate. No, they ask questions. And we talk about that. But I talk about wealth. I don't talk about buying and selling real estate. How can you build massive wealth? Did anybody do anything like that this weekend? Or are you all just afraid to talk today? Steve,
Your wife passed out purple koozies to everybody, including the other real estate agents that came to our house.
you did. That's a true statement. So I saw him floating in the pool the next morning. Steve,
So you've probably seen Mike on my Facebook. I have a new activity exercise. Walking.
yeah,
I'm doing about 15,000 steps a day. So I'm walking my whole neighborhood, which is about 500 houses, and I met 3 people potentially looking to sell.
yeah, are you on by yourself? You have a pet with you? Is it just yourself?
My dog can't keep up.
I got you. Well, I wouldn't keep up with you either, right? I need an oxygen machine. But are you wearing a polo or are you wearing some real estate of contact sport? See, he wears a shirt, he wears that red shirt every day. My buddy buys Braves tickets and sits in a certain spot and he has the bright orange shirt. So Matthew Slippers. So you know his brand and you know what he's doing. Mona.
I went to the canoe with some clients and they brought some other folks out on Friday night to listen to a concert. And they definitely knew I was a real estate guy.
So the key is you went on a boat with clients who invited other people who are going to refer them to business. Is that correct? Right. That's what I'm going to challenge y'all with. This is a people, I don't care what kind of widgets you're selling, cars, tables, watches, I don't care. If you have no people, you have no business. I scream this every day. So if we set a Memorial Day weekend, a great opportunity, more than any other, it's the start of the summer, I guess, while it's still freezing cold. But yet, it's a great time to be out with people. Concert series, I saw the concert series, Peachtree Corners, I saw 20 people there, the table, Michael Jackson Experience. Were you out doing those things? And if you weren't cool this weekend, go out and do something. Do something productive so you generate people into your sphere. That's why all these vendors are here today. They're not here because they like you. Well, you know. See, that's the problem, and you hear me a lot of times, and some people show up, some people don't, but they get embarrassed what I'm saying. You're here because you want to make money for your family and live out your dreams and your goals. That's the only reason you're in this room. And some people say you talk about money and it's nasty. And I got my young man over here from Tennessee. He's at school because he wants to have a good job when he gets out. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yes.
And make money, right? Okay, so everybody's here to do the same thing. What are you doing to do that? And it takes people. So you sell more widgets. There you go. I don't even know what a widget is, but anyway. Shelter Mortgage, you guys come down. Hunter didn't do a haircut, I just love it. And he doesn't, like, Hunter's like went for a transformation. He has a new haircut and no Alabama sweater.
I'm slowly training him on all this.
Wait till football people start.
Wearing 12 by his logo and a sweater.
So let's talk, because I'm gonna give y'all some FaceTime, so everybody sees you. Y'all watch the game last night?
Fall asleep.
I shouldn't have, that's right, I'm on adrenaline right now. Anybody watch the game last night? Anybody know there was a game? Anybody care?
What game?
See, it's interesting y'all say that, because I am not a basketball fan. I'm not. Except when we get to the playoffs. And I do. And Jimmy Butler's like my dude now, he's like my next Michael Jordan. But here's what I thought was interesting. And I'm only talking about y'all because where are we at in June? But they were up 3-0. History is about to be made. All they had to do was win one more game out of 7. And what happened? They lost them all and had to go back to Boston. Now, I don't know if you know any Boston. If you're any y'all from Boston, I apologize. But you know, you're a good fan, right? All the stars were there, Marky Mark, you know, all of them are there. Well, Miami was up 3 and now they're tied 3-3 in Boston. And Miami came out and beat them back. Miami had nothing but walk-ons. They said, what do you mean walk-ons? These were non-contract people. They didn't have contracts. They were not drafted, undrafted, undrafted. And they went and blew them away. Blew them away last night. I think they won by 20. It was incredible. Why am I using it as an analogy? Where are you at in your career? Where are you at for the year? And now it's time, if you're not there to meet your goals to pay what you want to do, it's time to turn the gas, turn it off. These guys are always here. I use the sports analogy with you guys because I'm sports guys with you guys, right? We love sports. Sports gives us that energy to go, and it's a contact sport. Are you gonna be quiet? Y'all go ahead.
So, man, mortgage interest rates this last 2 weeks, it has been a wild ride. Friday, national average 7.2%, the highest it has been in almost 3 months. The debt ceiling negotiations and the potential default is playing a huge impact in these interest rates. Now, there's a deal on the table. The House is going to be voting for it on Wednesday. I think Hunter's going to go into his take on this, but something that we've got to watch. June 5th is the last date that they're stating that debt ceiling negotiations that can take place for us not to default, the US not to default. So big date there. Market movers this week. So today we've got the consumer confidence report that can push rates. Tomorrow, where the House is voting on the bill on the debt ceiling, and then also ADP employment data is going to be released tomorrow. Thursday, the initial jobless claims that's also been data that's come out that's press rates one way or the other. So a lot of market movers this week. One date I want to reiterate is June 13th. That is the inflation, big inflation day. That's when the CPI inflation data is released. And that's when we're expecting for rates to potentially pull back down if we get new news.
So let's talk about it. Before you jump in there, Hunter, I want to give y'all more air. Let's just worst case scenario.
Yeah.
We default. Do rates go crazy? What are we looking like? How do we talk to our clients? I mean, I know if I'm looking right now.
They're saying June 5th, there's more money in the government have reserves that in the Constitution it is written that if we do technically get past June 5th and go into a default, then there are reserves that Joe Biden has to release to then let the government continue to run. So we will not default on June 5th off of all the things that I'm reading, but they do have a deal in place that is being voted on, as he said, on Wednesday. My take on it is this is not supposed to be political at all. This is just what happens every single time. If you look over the past 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to push it till the last second. They're going to vote on it. The Republicans are going to ask for something from the Democrats. The Democrats are going to ask from the Republicans. They're going to break. They're finally going to come together at the last hour. They're going to save the United States government by defaulting because they all came to an agreement for the American people, when we all know it's kind of a facade. And this happens every single time. So I would not be worried that we default. That was kind of my take on it, is this happens every single time. So
To answer your question though, if there was a default, rates would increase. So an agreement is going to pull Great sound. Is that?
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
kind of a reality check right
Yeah.
now. I think what Hunter said is absolutely spot on. They're going to, it's a game, chess, I guess, but that's why I asked that. But let's say once that happens, okay, now, this is all that happens. What do Rich do?
They come
They
to an agreement.
positively reacted this morning is they've already come to an agreement, so it hasn't been voted on yet. Once it gets voted on and accepted, or they pass, whatever bill they need to not default and rates will probably pull down.
Okay,
So that's just my opinion. So I think this is the highest that we'll get, assuming we get a deal done, assuming we get good news on June 13th. I think the rate positively move for the rest of the year, but that's just my personal take. So.
yeah, crystal ball, but that's, as a student of the market, kind of watching.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I think this is the highest one we'll see this year.
Okay.
But personal opinion. So again, we did have a good start to rates today. Kind of got into what I was going to say about the debt ceiling. So again, the United States has never defaulted on our debt. So they're not going to let that happen. And then I will be Renee today. We do have birthday lunch Friday at 12:30 for anybody whose birthday was in May or June, I believe.
April.
April and May. Okay, sorry about that. We need Renee here. April and May. We have your birthday lunch Friday at 12:30 at Marlowe's across the street, so please come join us. And then again, Bolero, if you're gonna come on June 22nd, we need RSVP. We need numbers to see how many and, our stuff together with the sponsors and alliance partners. So let us know if you guys can make it and we'll see you there.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Good morning. Kelsey, I know Andrew's here, second row. What's up, man?
How's it going?
It's good. So I'm gonna give you a little more airtime. I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How's the insurance business? What are we seeing rate wise?
So it's getting more expensive in the insurance world because of especially auto insurance, more expensive. During COVID, there wasn't a lot of people driving and there wasn't a lot of accidents, so insurance rates kind of remained relatively low and didn't get the inflation bump that a lot of other industries did. But now that people are back driving and there's more accidents, insurance is trying to catch up and it's causing a lot of insurance companies. For some reason, Georgia has a higher rate of accidents than a lot of other states. It's one of the higher accident states, and it's causing auto insurance rates to go up very high. I did a quote for Scott. He isn't here today, but he was doing some quoting around, and he has USAA. And I did a quote for him. And, it was very expensive just because he has a 16-year-old daughter, I think. So it was pretty expensive. So, yeah, auto insurance is very expensive, but we can quote around.
All right, so let's talk. So while I was out at KW Well, we talked about insurance and why is it so important? And the reason I'm gonna say that to all of you, you all right in there?
That's village.
All right, it's, why is it important? Someone's at my house in an accident.
Yeah.
And you've worked your tail off, you built this massive well. What liability are you setting yourself up for? Do you have an umbrella policy set up to protect yourself?
Yes.
These are good questions to ask. I want everybody going, yeah, because as you build well, so let me just give you an example. When, say there's a lawsuit in here and it's against Root. They're gonna go after Root personally, they're gonna go after Root LLC, and what else are they gonna do? They're coming right after you. That's right, they're gonna keep going. Once they can smell it, they're coming for it, right? You guys can have protection on everything you do. Including your auto, because if you have a CTO in a bad car accident or God forbid hurt somebody really bad. You need to make sure your wealth is protected. So the two things I can tell you, I hope you get out of this team meeting today, and I'm shooting you up here because it's so important. I got a blanket with you. Yeah. A lot of them, is make sure you have a will. So if you don't have a will, I'm gonna use words, it's gonna make you mad, and that's what I'm okay with, shame on you. Did I get your attention? And I, room's funky already, right? So I'm not supposed to keep on going. Yeah, shame on you. Because you're not protecting your assets, you're not protecting the people you love the most, and your people. Please, 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 if you do anything there, make sure you have your will in place. It's so vital, to you building your wealth, part of it. It's the nugget inside of mine. To make sure, and I have a special needs trust that's set up. You all need to make sure you have that in place. Especially if you're, I say, divorced or whatever, it's protecting your assets and protecting your kids, if that's what you want to do. So that has been doing Andrew, and Andrew's part of the umbrella of protection that I have on the assets.
That's right. So if anybody needs any quotes, let me know.
Appreciate you. Yeah, let's go. Calm down. Sam, if they don't have a database, what do they have? But what, hold on, so, okay, so the database, that's like, it sounds like so like AI. Oh, let me tell you how technology, some of us are not tech savvy, right? And that's what you say about me, right? You say you're not tech, yeah, because I'm not. But then I started thinking, so this weekend, it was so funny, my buddy, who I've been friends with since I was 4, so we're now 51, 52 years old. He goes, Mulder, you remember back in the day, my parents' spa, we had to pull the lens off to change the colors. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
There's a white light, you put a red on there, you have red one. Pull that lens off and you put a green one in, you have green one. Everybody go, yes, there's what it's called. Well, technology have a phone, and I go, give me red, give me green, give me purple, give me whatever you want. By the touch of a button. Technology, it works in its gut. And if you don't have a database, you have no business. I don't understand why you are the most important person in this room. I love Enrique, I love Ruth, I kind of like myself, but we're not. If we don't have you and or a database, we're gonna, it's a struggle.
Well, I mean, that's where you go from having a real estate job to having an actual real estate business, and like, y'all work too hard to go work a job in real estate, like, we can be better at that. And today, it's you just go down here.
You know, I say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and who knows you. Right? It's not what you know. It's my young man back here from Tennessee, like, I want him to understand it's about the people you put in the circle with.
Cool. Yeah, so today, actually, and my guest always usually tee me up perfectly with us even having a conversation on this. There's a really great feature that's going to hit Command probably today. If not today, it's gonna hit this week. That's let me show you out there.
Why Command? Why do we use Command? I got this other CRM. I don't want to use Command. Why would I use Command? He wasn't prepared.
Because we own it.
Yeah, who owns it?
Keller Williams and us.
I don't care.
Yes, you do.
Why?
Because no one else is gonna be marketing to my clients, like
Great.
Pillow or
You
any of
say
these
Pillow?
others, I did.
That's how we know.
That's pretty funny.
Or any of the other companies that they go and sign up on. So keeping our data to us, for us, is of major importance, and it's the reason that KW has spent so much money and so many years building Command and other opportunities for us as agents. It's ours.
Why rank your technology? Then I'm hearing that.
There
You
you
know,
go.
it's interesting, as a team leader, I'm just gonna go back and forth with you. I think totally different.
Okay,
Let me tell you why.
and tell
And
me
I know
why.
it is your gig. I just wanna banter back and forth. You know what I love about it?
What?
Because what it does for my business, not my data.
Yeah.
I can, when he's about to show you something new that's gonna happen to grow my business. That's what it's about to me. Grow my business. How do I grow my business? What Command can do, whether I own it, and I do love all that, by the way, let's make sure we understand that.
Yeah.
But it's what Command can do for you and your business is so cool to me.
Well, and on that point too, like, I think the key thing is just like, I see every different CRM, and like, what's really fun is I've used technology audits in which I try to get like our top agents, top teams off of those other platforms. And like what I realized is that like all of these things are more or less the same. Like I can go open up Commission Z, I can go open up Rivety, and they do the same thing Command does. And I find it hilarious whenever I'll meet with the top team, they're like, oh, I'm paying $1,700 a month for Rivety. And they're like, I'm feeling that pain, can you help me off with it? I'm like, well, show me what you're using so I can find your pain points. They're like, well, I don't use anything. Like, I don't even have a smart plan attention on those things, so. But the key difference, like I say, the one X factor that Command has over this other products would be that when we built this, it was built with the models and the systems around the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. There's pieces of that in here that really helps you take this next level. Where those other services, they're just a platform for really cool tech people to build fun buttons. This one's here to actually grow your business. That makes fun. Yeah, cool. All right, but none of that matters unless you have data to put into it. And this is what I'm going to show you today. This is a new feature that's coming out. Test your Command this week. You may or may not have access to this yet. And I've had this in Command for probably about 2 months now, behind a feature flag. There's this really cool thing coming in Command called advanced filtering, which will help me find people in my database a lot easier. So if you're inside of contacts and we're using this filters button, you're gonna have a different view already from what I have here, but I can go through here and there's now so many different options that I can use for filtering that we didn't have before, including for things finding like home anniversaries, right? We have that data, but we didn't have a way of finding it. If you think this is cool, just wait. But yeah, there's a nice view here in which I can go through and pull all kinds of information, tags, sources. I'm going to remove my tag here really quickly. What I love as well is that this makes it really easy to actually save this information. I don't know if you've ever like filtered and had to hit save and close, save, and it's a pain. They made a really cool user update to this. But up top in the top right hand corner, there's now a feature that says advanced, which helps me find things that I may be missing, or I can search on more than one thing at a time. They call this Boolean search now in the tech world. But let's say, for example, I want to find my people that have a birthday coming up within the next 30 days. But also, I want to find the people who are maybe missing an email. So again, I can go through here and search anyone with an email, and then I can search by contains, does not contain, is empty, is not empty. But if I say it's missing or it's empty, that's going to show me everyone in the next 30 days that has a birthday that's missing an email. And when I hit apply, that should give me some results. Now, the reason there's no results is that my data is actually really good. I have it. So bad example there, but that's a cool use of this search, is that I can come in here and use this advanced filtering to find all kinds of crazy things. So if you really want to go through here, maybe change just to like telephone number or here, this will be last contacted longer than 50 days. There should be some people. Yeah, so there's 2 people that I haven't reached out to in 50 days that have a birthday coming up. So this is going to help you that if you have these special interests of like, hey, I want to go through and I want to find people to call, these are the 2 people that be hot on my priority list.
So what's the, I see, New York Giants, what's that, tags?
Oh, yeah.
Tags.
Yeah, so I mean, I teach a whole class on this, but you know, if you're not tagging your database, if you're not finding ways to make your data work for you, you're not doing this right. So tagging, you should have like your real estate tags in there of like, here's my buyers, my sellers, my past clients. Those are the 3 tags that you should start with. But once you start to have that system in place, your next step up is getting into those personal touches. So when we met Richie Colombo, we know this person is from New York originally. He's a New York Giants fan. He's currently no longer with KW, so he's on my recruiting tag as well. And apparently he's a key to becoming office. So even though he's left my database, or maybe you had this from a perspective of, I missed the top of this listing, that doesn't mean get rid of him from your database. Just give him different tags so you have a different approach to marketing them in the future. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, take a look at this and play this. If you have any questions, we're going to do some more training on this as well. But you can go crazy with this and get really specific as the things you might be missing inside of your database. My gut would tell me start with neighborhoods and primary addresses, because those are things that I know that most agents are missing their database. Go through here and find people that are missing addresses, go find that information. And I saw Brian shake his head because there's an opportunity there for prospecting. Yeah, it's hard to sell someone a house if we don't know where they live.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Are there opportunities to add to that name, company, title, last contacted? Are we going to be able to add those at all?
Are you talking about in here?
No, in fact, on the screen,
your preview view.
on the preview screen? Are we gonna be able to add any of that or no?
Columns.
Columns in
Columns,
here.
thank you, Brian.
Yeah, so my columns are customized. If you haven't seen this, you can click this customize column button. And you can go through here and add every field that you have inside of Command, including custom fields. The reason why mine shows 0 information is because YouTube is taking down my content because it thinks I'm sharing people's personal information. So that's why I'm customized so that you can't see telephone numbers and email addresses, but yeah. Anything that you can put inside a field in Command, you can put in here. Mine are just kind of discreet because I can't share information on the web. Cool. All right, is that helpful?
Yeah.
Right.
Use it. I don't care which you should use it. Right. All right, thank you. Command is the best. Make sure you don't understand that. Ruth, I think that you got pictures?
Okay.
Ruth, what you got? Some of them, cool shoes you got under there. Very hip, do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruthie. I just noticed that when I sat down.
You got these beautiful new chairs, they're all cool graded or something. Good to see y'all. We have a lot of people on Zoom today. It looks
Yeah.
like. That's super.
Say a long weekend, man, like,
They just don't have the kind of.
I got Jaime in the back.
So a lot of the things that I deal with, well, I will just tell you, this last week, been the most horrible week I've ever had. I'm not kidding. So many issues coming up. Like, I think it was Thursday, when I went to bed, I think I'm gonna have to give this up. I can't take it anymore. So anyway, there's so many problems that we've had, and a lot of it has to do with poor documents. So we had a situation where, we had a listing, then the other agent brought the buyer, and she wrote the amendment to address concerns. By the way, this particular property was supposed to close this Friday. It did not close. You know why it did not close? Because of this amendment to address concerns, even after all of that. And I had to get an immediate to help me because there were people that spoke another language involved, and I only speak one language. I'm very limited in that regard. So when you go to write the amendment, I would just say, this was, I believe, the worst amendment to address concerns I've ever seen. It was not written by one of our agents.
Thank God, I was wondering.
And it was like, throw it out there and see what it is. So this first one was sort of negative to talk about. Feces were present in the reference areas, evaluation of the source and cleaning and or replacement as needed is recommended to be performed by a residential cleaning and or carpet company. All parties agree to follow professional recommendations of the inspector. So, like, what does that say? It says, you can either clean it or you can replace it, and you need to follow the recommendations of the inspector, but doesn't say follow the recommendations of the cleaning people or the carpet people, but the inspector, so you have to go back to the inspection report. The inspector said, clean it. But the buyer wanted it replaced, and that buyer was insistent that it's done replaced, and the seller was saying, I am cleaning it, and it was just a big, and it's still a big fight. As it turned out at the end, the seller giving the money to replace it. But it was all, and every one of these, this is not one.
Well, hold on, Ruth. So what would you have said? And of course, some people don't know how to write a good, sticky amendment or,
All right, that's in my next subject.
okay.
So when you bring up what I brought up, so when you write the statement, you gotta be sure it's clear about what it says, and you don't write a sentence. A lot of times people don't know how to write, you gotta have a subject, a verb, and a predicate, right? You remember, you learned that? What grade was that? It's kind of old. Yeah. Grade or something. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. That would be that. This is the amendment to address concerns. This amendment shall become effective. This is in the boilerplate language of the amendment to address concerns.
The amendment shall become effective on the date when the party who accepted the amendment delivers notice of that acceptance to the party who proposed the amendment in accordance with the notice section. So if you write the thing and you never tell somebody that you've accepted it, you really don't have anything, right? So that's very important. That's with everything really, right? But if you don't respond to getting the request, then the whole thing goes away. And I guess it's a change from where it was when I started. It used to be, you had a certain number of days, you had to respond by day. They don't just say, if it doesn't come due, it's null and void and nothing happens. It fell off, okay? So that's a big thing you need to watch out for, because if you send this to the seller and the seller doesn't respond, what happens to your amendment? It goes away.
Doesn't
So
exist.
you don't have it anymore. So that's real important to represent the buyer. So let's talk about how we're going to write a good amendment. This program will do. Okay. All right, so when you have the inspection, get with the buyer and make a list of defects that the inspector finds in order of importance as buyer is concerned about. If the buyer isn't concerned about it, yeah, forget about it. But if the buyer has certain things, you need to list those in order of importance and possibly the value, how much it's gonna cost, okay? So consider whether or not you'll ask for replacement or repair, or ask for closing costs or reduction in price. There are lots of choices you have. But in our market, what kind of market are we in? Sellers. So if you have an amendment to address concerns and there are 45 items on there, or 25, or how many, are you gonna answer all of them?
No.
You are not gonna get that out, sorry, somebody else will get that. So be careful with what you put down is eminently important to that buyer. Because otherwise, yes,
Oh, I just wanted to say, to give you another talking point, if you do ask for those repairs in the amendment, we as the lender have to see receipts that they have been completed by somebody licensed in that area. So that's just another thing that adds on if you do put specific repairs.
There you go.
so ask for a few important, be sure to say who will do the repair. And ask for receipts and warranties of the work and material under the region.
Yep, I should have read that before.
So ask for a few important repairs, but don't ask for everything on the list. And be sure that you say it in a way that people understand. Have a subject, a verb, and an object. And refer the items in the inspection to the page and paragraph of the inspection report if you're going to be sending that in. And I know you all do a wonderful job at this, but I just want to protect you because our seller is still waiting to get the money on this particular property that we're concerned about. Anyway, thank you. Good to see
And if
you.
you have a question, or if I have one, you need to reach out to Ruth, ask her, make sure you're right, Mona.
Okay, so, most of you don't know that I ended up in a lawsuit earlier this year, as in like last month. Ruth knew a little bit about it. It was because, yeah, the amendment, I represented the seller, the amendment to address concern was very, very vague. It was very, very poorly written. And so my seller went by a very word for word and did what it said. And, but it was very, very poorly written. So it took up so much of my time dealing with the mentalness of it, you know, the getting served here at the office and all that jazz. And we ended up having to go into court in Lawrenceville, and the judge heard their case and basically like threw it right out, like do it right out. Like just said, you know, made them feel really silly, but still, you know, it was a poorly written amendment. And, you know, that's a question is that when we get a poorly written amendment and having gone through this once, do we need to go back to that agent? I mean, do we just do what I did and follow the letter of it, even though it was poorly written and we did what it
You
said?
can count on the amendment, you can say, just let's say, ask them, now reword it.
Let me add to it, because I was privy to the whole conversation.
Right.
So I talked to the agent, got involved and everything else. To add to the context of it, the buyer of the property is an attorney. The
Right,
agent, their agent wrote that amendment, which was, I completely agree, you know, poorly written. The issue falls on us. Because if we receive that and we say, okay, well, I'm gonna go with it because I'm gonna follow the letter of what it says, we're creating ambiguity, we're creating confusion. We should actually rewrite that amendment and say, this is what we agreed to do. And this is by when we agreed to do it. Had that happened, we wouldn't have had any of the issues. But see, the scary part is the fact that the buyer's an attorney, they signed on that amendment. The agent obviously wrote it, and did poorly so, and basically what that agent did was copy paste from the inspection report. So you had a poorly written inspection report that was copy pasted onto an amendment, and hence the problem that we have, right? So
And the seller, even being an attorney,
the buyer,
I mean, the buyer, signed it anyway.
correct.
So if he's a good attorney, then this doesn't make good sense. Maybe not. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about that because I know y'all. And you are a much better agent. You have to be. You can't, if you're a bad agent, this comes to me. I'm sure you wouldn't.
Extraordinaire, they're going to protect you to make sure, that if you have questions, you're writing a special step or an amendment contract, ask her, she will help and guide you.
Oh, I want to say one other thing before we start. We're talking about open houses. You know, I do some rentals because I have some clients that I sold rental houses 2 years ago and they're still renting them. So I end up renting the houses, but it's good because I've sold houses to those tenants. But the thing is, when you get these type of, when you're doing these rentals like that, have you thought about having an open house? The last ones I've done, I had 1-2 hours worth of work. I go there and I have an open house and then I rent it. So if you're thinking about open houses only for sale, they work great for rentals.
Amen to that.
There you go. Real estate space we're in. Enrique.
Good morning, Chad North. Good morning. Hey, back. How was your weekend? Now, I wanted to say a few things because Mike was asking me, how's your weekend? Any ahas, anything you do this year, right? And I was, I'm gonna not say anything because it's gonna take away from what I'm gonna say. Well, a couple of things. And I'll touch on the debt ceiling a little bit, right? That's one of the things we really can't control individually, right? I mean, it's up to the politicians and the shenanigans and the showcasing and all the things that they do. But we definitely control the narrative, how it is that we communicate that information, how relevant or not relevant it is to what we do, right? So that is a conversation that all of you could be having. This is a teaching moment, right? What are we telling our database regarding what's going on with the political environment right now, right? And what will it do, what will happen, what we think is gonna happen? And I agree with Hunter, this is just a show that gets put on every so often, for them to say we say we do care of business, right? So that's one thing we cannot control, but we can control the narrative, what we say, right? Were you involved in that smash and grab in Lululemon here in Fisher-Gordon?
I saw that.
Was a smash and grab here at Lululemon? No way.
More than one. Yeah, and they fired employees because they have a no follow policy. So they try to call the cops and they fire the employees because they call the cops.
I think we should pick it.
I can make some signs.
Brian, can you-
And not, you can control that, but just be on the lookout, and especially if we shop it into this area. It's just interesting what we're seeing. Now, let me ask you this. So what can we actually control? If anything, we can't control the debt ceiling, from taking place or not taking place. We can't control the rates, going up and down and so on and so forth. But we can control the narrative, right? We control what we say. Now, it's interesting because I was at a wedding for the weekend in Port Charlotte. Are you guys familiar with that area of Florida? It's the area that got hit by Ian last November, September, October, whenever it happened. And a couple of things. It was so interesting to see that place come back. Because it was up and running in rental business. Now, the interesting thing is the conversations, because every conversation that I had at any gathering always ends up in real estate. So the conversation was very interesting because it was the same conversation that I have with you guys here, that I have with clients, that I have with the agents, because it doesn't change. What changes how many zeros there were at the end of each property listing, right? And we were talking about pricing. It was the same question, right? And it's interesting now, I'm not licensed in Florida, but I think I made some referrals just because of the conversations that I had. So don't ever be afraid to talk about real estate. Now, one thing that we control, and then can you put on the, what's the name of our game? What do we do? For the people business, for the real estate space, all of those things, right? But it's not real estate. Bottom line, that's what gets the checks, written and all that, right? Now, can we work with buyers? Can we work with sellers? Yes. What is the name? What's been the name of the game for real estate forever? Listings. Right? You list to live, you list to survive, you list to do business, to do well. You list to get buyers, as a matter of fact, right? Not the other way. Now, why is it still important? Now, it doesn't matter if you master what I'm about to show you, if you don't have an audience to talk to, right? So you still have to do the work. You still have to have the conversation. You still have to reach out to your database. Thanks for sharing all those things about demand. Great tool, by the way, that not everyone uses. Okay. So still have to have the conversations, but what do we do? What do we tell people in this market? Get a listing. What do we say? Right? Let me take a look at the next slide. Data, information, statistics are the most important. What was I just saying about the conversation that I had at the wedding? The same conversation. Am I a real estate agent in Florida? No. Do I know the area 100%? No, I do not. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the KW app just to see if I variance, see what the pricing was, see what condominiums going for $1 million plus, 1 and 2 bedrooms in that particular area, and going, oh my goodness, this is just a very interesting market. I even put myself in the situation, what if I were to, which I'm not, to that area, and how would I go about doing business there, right? And it's all about networking. It's all about, meeting people, talking to people, having a conversation, right? So proper market understanding and data presentation will make you look like an expert. So I was having those conversations and they were actually listening to what I was saying. Right? Because what I was saying is the same conversation that I asked you guys to have, right? Your job as a real estate agent is to present sellers with accurate data, but more importantly, be able to interpret that data that shows opportunities, not doom and doom, right? So are we gonna say the debt ceiling, oh my goodness, we're not gonna do any business until we know what happens? No, we're still doing business, we're still having the conversation, right? Every market has its opportunities and challenges. Next slide. Create urgency. When is the best time to sell? Always. Is it now? Why? You get so much money. You know when it's happening. Yeah. I know it's 6 months. If the prices go up, then we'll figure it out. The future is always uncertain. Now is always the best time to sell your. Next slide, if you don't mind. The biggest change in your listing presentation is going to be the pricing conversation. Now, we're taking on some listings, right, Sandy?
Mm-hmm.
How many conversations have we had about pricing those listings?
A lot,
Now, has the conversation changed as we were approaching? Why?
because
Because
the
we
data
gotta
changes,
keep an eye.
information changes.
Now, Carrie Kruko, she's not here today. She took a listing. We were talking about that last week. And she was happy, but she was a little surprised that the listing didn't sell over the weekend. She went on the market a little over a week ago. And I said, and why is that? And she says, well, I didn't promise anything, but I was hoping that we were gonna be under contract right now. I said, well, let me ask you this, we have the PC group here. And I said, what are days on market in that area? This is the Beaufort area, right? And I.
45 days,
It's
41 days.
45 days, right? So this is the conversation that you need to have with your client. They're selling on average 45 days in the market. That's what's happening, and they're still selling, right? Now, can they sell sooner? I think we're probably gonna be doing or seeing something in the next 10 to 14 days, from the day of listing. Guess what happened? Fast forward to this past weekend, Memorial Weekend, less people, but more serious people. She gets multiple offers and she's under contract, right? The change when you're telling the client is, we're gonna sell it over the weekend, show them the days of market for the particular area. That's very, very relevant, okay? And if we're price, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen this amount of days or less. And then you look like you know where you're going, right? Stats. 6 months ago versus today. I would even say 3 months ago versus today. I would even go as far as 30 days, depending on the area versus today, right? Number of properties that sold 6 months ago, 90 days ago, 30 days ago versus the last 30 days or even last 4 weeks. Number of properties that have price reductions before going under contract. Right? And the ones that are still active despite the price reductions, the quality we reduce a little more. Number of withdrawn expired listings now versus 6 months ago or 3 months ago. Now, that right there is information that you provide, but that's also information that you look at because that's business that you could go after, right? Contracts that didn't sell in properties that, where the sellers actually fired the agents because they couldn't sell those properties, right? And the market obviously has shifted. Next slide. Seller pre-qualifying. Find out what their motivation to sell is. Ask this question, and I don't know how many of you asked this question. Mr. Seller, is that selling an option? Is that selling your property an option? Yeah, it is an option, so if we don't sell it, you're okay with that? Now you know the level of his motivation, right? Now, on the flip side, if he says, oh no, we have to sell it out, right? What are you telling me, Mr. Seller, that I have to do everything in my power to get that property sold, right? That's gonna help you with pricing, that's gonna help you with price reductions, or even bettering the property if that's what needs to happen in order for the property to be sold, because we're gonna reference the fact that we have to sell the property. And guess what? I don't know that information if I don't ask the question, right? Dig deep, find out what motivation to sell it. Knowing what makes them tick, has all the data, all the analysis with getting them to price their property correctly. Right? It is an emotional thing. It's their home, right? Even though it's a business transaction, we should be treated as a business transaction. And I think that is step number 5. You're the best real estate agent to help them. Because aren't we telling them the same thing? Sandy, you are competing with another agent on another property that we didn't get, right?
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Why was an agent telling the seller?
that they had buyers and
I'm gonna sell it, right? I'm the best agent to sell the property. I'm gonna do it in the quickest time and I'm gonna get you the most money. Now, whether they were lying through the teeth or not, that's not the point. The point is that whoever says that better gets the deal, right? Sign right here. And that's what we want to get done, right? So practice, you listen to presentation and objections handling. Get ready to have clear conversations with those sellers. That's what I have for you. Yeah, we're number 21 of over 3,000 brokerages in state. And I would tell them stuff close to $1 billion in real estate. Your office does matter. Who you're in business with does matter. Use those stats and then they got you. It separates you from the rest. And then you want to build camaraderie. I see there's someone else. I can tell you if I have a house and I've known Ruth for 100 years and I got brand new agent over here. Which one am I listening to? Listen to Ruth. Right? So, yeah, you need to be in the circle. That's why you go to Namor. That's why you go to all these events. People get to know who you are. Exactly. And everything ties together, doesn't it? Right? Being able to generate the business, generate the lead, convert the lead, get the listing, go to the listing appointment, have the information, the data, all of those things. And then you screw it up when we do an amendment to address concerns, and now we're in trouble. right? I got to everything ties together, so I attend those contract classes, ask questions, talk to Ruth, or we sign things, right? Not after, right? 'Cause I get the same thing happens to me. But anyways, that's all I have for you, Chad North, and welcome back from Memorial Week. All right. Thank you. What we got going on this week where we can get educated? Case score tonight. Guys, yeah, these are the profit share checks. For those who don't know, half of profits in this office go back to the agents who do the business. And so I'm gonna challenge you, if you know somebody looking to get into the business, get them into our case score, free. And Mickey hosts this every Tuesday.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, so that is tonight at 5:30. If you need the link, if you need to share it with anybody, just shoot me a text or an email. It should also be on our Sunday newsletter that goes out, which actually was Monday this week. Tomorrow, AI. You guys want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So bring your computer to this. This is going to be a workshop. We're going to use several different pieces of AI to actually build marketing content for you. So, yeah, we're going to get hands-on with AI tools for them.
Excellent, good. And then also tomorrow are those bilingual sessions at 1:30. Thursday is pretty jam-packed. We've got tech appointments for Tyler. If you need in-person tech support, Tyler can help you there. Writing the best offer with O'Kelly and Sorahan, that is our very own Ashley. You want to say something about it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through the ways to make your offer as strong as you can make it without putting your client at risk. And then also things to avoid when you're receiving offers or avoid putting in your offer to not get in trouble. Keep Ruth happy.
Perfect. Look, everybody's here today. Ryan, you want to talk about this one?
Sure, this is one that we've been doing for a while, sometimes people want to send out mail, want to send out a form, want to start one of those things, but it just keeps getting put off and put off. This is an opportunity, come, sit down, tell us what you want to do, and you will be ready to send out a piece of mail that day.
Perfect. So bring your computers, bring everything.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think you need to learn from Brian. You need to talk to him what he can do to build your brand, build your business. He's got his cool mailers right here. We've been talking about it. Independence Day, you'll see fireworks in 3D. Yeah, something and clothes, it got my attention, attention getter.
Definitely. And then also on Thursday, Andy has his monthly MRAA roundtable. That is for all of GLG. He's usually has special guests coming in from across the country, so go ahead and jump in on that. That is Zoom only. And then coming up to mark your calendar for this month, on June 5th, Kelly Henderson is coming to GLG. It will be at the North Atlanta office. However, she is fantastic. And if do I have ALC members in here? There's also an ALC mastermind after that for them.
I've got a discrepancy. It's the 5th there, it's the 7th there, which is
Two different things. Two different things. Yep. Kelly's the 5th, and then on the 7th is Real Estate Jeopardy with, that's McMichael and Gray, right?
Yeah, yes.
Perfect, perfect. And then also coming up on June 8th on a Thursday is a masterclass. This is how money works. They were here, was that before COVID when they were coming?
Yeah, maybe
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a while, and now they condensed their classes into one. It's a great course to just come and learn about investing, learn about wealth, and it's really understandable.
That's my one
Anybody can
thing,
do
is
it.
bring wealth classes, and understanding how money works. Yep.
Yes. And then on the 20th, if you need that professional headshot, she'll be back on the 20th for after team meeting. You can sign up for that. InFocus is doing a info session on what they do. Amy's not here, but she'll talk more about that as we go on. As they talked about with shelter, bowling happy hour, that is the little code that you need to scan in. It is on our newsletter. It's also here, and there's flyers that have gone out. So you do need to RSVP because we do need to get lanes for that. Also coming up is Quantum Leap for youth. I just said that funny. Youths for the youth. And then Mega Camp is coming up in August. We've talked a bunch about Quantum Leap before for the kids 18 to 24-ish. Anybody who's looking into becoming more of an entrepreneur, things that they don't teach in traditional schools. That is an all-day event, and it is fantastic. And that's all I got.
Yep, good morning, Chad
There
North.
he is.
beautiful people of Chattanooga. Happy Gratitude Tuesday once again. It's another great day to be alive, isn't it? So speaking about life, life is too short to wake up with regrets. So love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones you don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason. If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Let's continue to think big, aim high, act bold. Peace and love. And June, who's that you have there on that screen, June? Oh, that's you, June.
Two of them.
Yeah, I
Okay.
saw that too. I was looking at the same thing, going, there's June, and then there's screen, and it's June again. Very cool.
Peace and love.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you.
Your Legion, right, make a difference for your family.